It's just balance of the side. We're missing players like Willie and Lungi are our pace bowling options that we had picked. Kugeline's come in, but to get him over here it took a little bit of time, so he's in Chennai. We had Mohit Sharma, who's just coming back from injury. So this game was a game that was going to be tough for the balance of our side, and we knew that, and we actually hung tough pretty well. But I think probably the last 5 or 6 overs, it came a little bit unstuck. We're not planning all the time to just play 3 overseas players, but we were happy with our batting lineup, and then we're looking at our bowling options. And without the 2 overseas players at this point, we're pretty limited in what we can pick. So we're working with our Indian options, and as I said, it's a skill set we're looking for. It doesn't really matter whether it's overseas or Indian. We're just looking for the best combination that we think we can put out. And today it was the extra seamer and bringing Mohit back into the competition. So there was a positive around that. And they did pretty well right up to 15, 16 overs. It was the last maybe 3 or 4 overs where the game just got away on us. Yeah. We didn't lose a plot. Some very good hitting, but we weren't as good as what we could be. And it's a little bit of pressure, but we just got a little bit complicated where we've been really simple and really effective. We just got put under pressure and just went away from what's worked from us, and that can happen. It's a ground where the last part of an innings can always be a bit brutal. I'm sure we've seen a lot of innings like that, and they've got 2 of the best hitters at the moment going around. So a tough ask, but we were nowhere near as good as what we could be, and to have those sort of numbers in the last 5, 6 overs, you're not going to win too many games. When you worked hard for the first 2/3, I think the last third was something that we'll look back on and say we could have done a lot better. Well, as a cricketer, I'm a massive fan. I think he's a wonderful player, and with his confidence up, and it looks like he's got a good thing going with what he's doing at the death. So that the plans now for teams to try and combat that. We were happy with what we're trying to do. We just executed poorly, and he's a quality player, Pollard as well. So. Yeah, I think he's one of the Mumbai's key weapons, one of India's key players going forward. And if you can keep him out of the game, you often go close to winning. But today, with both bat and ball, he was influential. We're never going to be great. We know that. We concede that. That's one of the downsides of maybe having athletes that are a little bit older. But we're okay with that. Usually our catching's very good that we work on. Today, what I was disappointed with was just a couple of things that we measure off the ball. So I thought we were a little bit placid with the movement around the field. So we'll address that, and that's often a barometer to pressure or just not being completely tuned in to what's needed to be done. We have to be at our absolute best if we're going to compete in the field, because we have limitations. But up until now, we've been pretty good, and for the majority of this innings, we were pretty good. We just made some clumsy errors which we can tidy up. But we're not going to be one of the best fielding sides in the competition. Yeah, it's too slow. I think there's got to be a collective shift from everybody, so players as well as on-field monitoring. I think there's a little bit of broadcasting as well. There are times when you're waiting to come back. So as a collective, I think the whole thing can be sped up. The moisture does play a part. So we've had a couple of games that have been very dewy, so wiping the ball was a consideration. But I think cricket in general is played at a pace that's below where it needs to be. So I would love to see all forms of the game increase in pace. And if that puts pressure on captains and bowlers, then so be it. How do you do that? Well, you manage on field a little bit more strict, and you also ask a little bit more of captains and bowlers just to be a little bit more sure about plans. So yeah, I think when we're edging up close to 4 hours, I think we're defeating the purpose of a short game. He hasn't bowled for quite a while. He hasn't bowled in the big bash through, so he's pretty much playing for us as a specialist batsman. His body is such that it would be a risk to bowl him. So we think he's valuable at the top. He was top run scorer at Pakistan, and I think he bowled 1 over because they had to, so he hasn't bowled for some time. And we don't want to risk him through this tournament, especially when we've got 6 good bowling options anyway. No, we're really happy with what we've done. Harbhajan's bowling beautifully. But there are the tactics that we're using against opposition, and when we've won 3 out of 4, it's been pretty spot on. Today was spot on as well. The spinners had only a small impact. Imran Tahir was very good, but it was a seam-based day today, and I think we pretty much got that right. But Harbhajan Singh has been bowling beautifully, and you would expect him when we get back into conditions that suit, he'll be a key force. So we're very happy with the role that he's playing.